I don't think I knew that she claimed she couldn't pursue it or she couldn't follow her medical dreams later in life because the college that she went to when John Major was Prime Minister.
James O'Brien challenges Badenoch over med school claim, sparks heated debate. Okay, this is the kind of political clash that stops people in their tracks. James O'Brien, the outspoken radio host known for tearing into politicians live on air, has just taken aim at Kemi Badenoch. And this time, it's over a story that sounds almost too good to be true, her claim that she once had an offer to study medicine. Now, you might think, what's the big deal? Politicians tell personal stories all the time, right? But here's the twist: O'Brien isn't buying it. He says the details don't add up. He says the narrative doesn't match reality. And he's not just shrugging it off, he's calling it out, publicly, in a way that's turning heads across Westminster. So how did we get here? Kemi Badenoch, one of the rising stars in the Conservative Party, often talks about her personal journey from growing up in Nigeria, to moving back to the UK, to working her way up against all odds. It's a story that resonates with a lot of people. But when she claimed she had once received a conditional offer to study medicine at university, critics started digging. And James O'Brien? He pounced. On his show, he broke it down point by point. The timing of the claim. The details of the supposed offer. The way Badenoch has repeated the story. He suggested that, at best, it doesn't quite line up, and at worst, it feels like a political embellishment. And the way he put it was brutal. He leaned in with his trademark tone, that mix of disbelief and sarcasm, and told his listeners, "This just doesn't happen. It's impossible. You don't get into medical school like this." The backlash was immediate. Supporters of Badenoch accused O'Brien of being petty, of nitpicking, of trying to drag down a successful woman of color who has become a powerful conservative voice. But critics of Badenoch said O'Brien was simply doing what journalists should always do, holding politicians accountable for the stories they use to shape their image. On Twitter, one user posted, "If Badenoch's claim is false, it matters. Politicians can't just rewrite their pasts to win points." Another shot back, "This is desperation from O'Brien. The left can't handle Badenoch's rise." Inside Parliament, reactions were mixed. One Labour MP reportedly told a reporter, "This speaks to a pattern. Badenoch wants to project resilience, but sometimes the stories feel exaggerated." Meanwhile, a Conservative insider defended her, "Kemi inspires people. She's telling her truth, and people relate to it. The media can spin it however they like, but voters know what she represents." But here's why this matters more than just one story. Politics today isn't only about policy papers and speeches. It's about personal narratives. Politicians use their life journeys as symbols of credibility, of authenticity. When they say, "I've lived it," or "I've been there," it builds trust with the public. So if a detail in that narrative doesn't hold up, it shakes everything. That's why O'Brien's challenge landed so hard. It wasn't just about whether Badenoch had an offer to study medicine. It was about whether her broader story, her brand of authenticity, can be trusted. And let's not forget the bigger picture. Badenoch has been tipped by many as a future Conservative leader. She's bold, unapologetic, and willing to clash with critics, qualities that make her popular among grassroots supporters. But they also make her a prime target for journalists and opponents who believe she cuts corners with the truth. O'Brien, for his part, thrives on these clashes. His audience tunes in for the drama, the takedowns, the moments when he says out loud what others are only whispering. And with this Badenoch claim, he's got exactly that kind of material. Now, where does this leave us? For Badenoch, she has two options. Either she brushes this off, dismissing O'Brien as just another media critic, or she addresses it head-on, offering proof, clarity, or context that shuts down the debate. For O'Brien, the moment has already paid off. His rant is going viral, clips are circulating, and his name is trending alongside Badenoch's. But for the public, this is another reminder of why trust in politics is so fragile. If politicians stretch the truth, even on something as personal as a university offer, what does that say about the promises they make on the national stage? One caller to O'Brien's show put it bluntly, "It might seem small, but if she'll fudge the details of her past, why wouldn't she fudge the details of her policies?" Another said the opposite, "This is nonsense. People care about the cost of living, not whether she almost went to med school." And that's the divide. Some see this as a critical test of character. Others see it as a distraction from bigger issues. But here's the cliffhanger you need to think about. If a rising star like Badenoch can get dragged into controversy over her personal story, what happens when the pressure of leadership gets even bigger? Is this just a bump in the road, or is it the start of a pattern that will haunt her rise to the top? Because if this is only the beginning, how much deeper does it go?